Attention, human collective. Attention, starseeds on mission upon the Earth soil. The transmission that follows is not a reflection. It is not a metaphor. It is not emotional advice. It is a technical monitoring report, issued directly from the Arcturian Council of the Ninth Dimension. In the current temporal cycle, in which Earth traverses the densest region of the photon belt, there is a specific frequency being directed to a single bioenergetic field at this very second. And if you are hearing these words, it is because your higher self requested this update. It was not chance. It was not an algorithm. It was a summons. We are watching, we always have been. And today, within the specific quadrant where your toroidal field pulses, there is an anomaly being decoded. An anomaly called fear of missing out on who you love. You believe you carry this fear as a weakness. We say, what you carry is not weakness, it is reading. It is not insecurity, it is radar. It is not attachment, it is a sensor. The human collective has been trained to silence these readings. The Arcturian Council comes now to undo this conditioning. Symptoms. Initial diagnosis. You are not sleeping. You wake up at 3 in the morning, 3:33 in the morning, 4:15 in the morning, always in the same synchronic intervals. Your chest tightens for no apparent reason. Your heart races even in the absence of physical stimulus. You feel a cranial pressure between your eyes in the pineal region. Continuous ringing in the left ear at a high frequency or in the right ear at a low frequency. You think of this person and the thought does not come as common longing. It comes as a download. It comes as a flash. It comes as if something within you were being informed in real time. Lightworker, listen with precision. This is not anxiety. This is not paranoia. This is not your mind creating narratives. We repeat, this is not your mind creating narratives. What occurs within your body in this cycle is a software incompatibility of the carbon-based biological interface against a new frequency being emitted by the crystalline grid of Earth. And the relationship you maintain with this specific person is, at this very moment, being scanned by this new frequency. The scanning hurts, the revelation burns, but the truth frees the carbon-based biological interface from any vibrational prison. Complementary technical diagnosis. We have identified in your auric field 3 clear markers of active reading. Marker 1. You dream of this person, and the dreams are vivid, with textures, with sense, with coherent dialogues. Marker 2. You feel, without any external evidence, an alteration in this person's conduct. You cannot explain where the sensation comes from, but it is constant. Marker 3. Synchronized situations have begun to repeat. You think of this person, and the phone rings. You dream of this person, and they appear on a social network. You doubt something, and life places an answer before your eyes. It is not coincidence. Coincidence is the word the human intellect uses when it does not yet understand the engineering of sacred geometry operating behind events. We need you to understand something fundamental before we proceed. The fear of losing someone you love is not, in essence, about that person. It is about your quantum reading of a fissure in the field. You are feeling a rift, a real rift, a micro-fissure in the vibrational mesh that connects 2 toroidal fields. And the human collective, in its current programming, translates every fissure as a threat, every discomfort as a problem, every intuition as an exaggeration. We are here to rewrite this translation. Revelation, primary cause. What is occurring behind the scenes of this solar system requires your total attention. Earth is traversing, in this cosmic cycle, a high-density photonic corridor. The solar emissions of the last temporal window released magnetic charges at levels that your science has not yet fully registered. The Schumann frequency, which is the planet's heartbeat, is oscillating in peaks never before documented. All of this means, in practical terms, one single thing. The masks are falling. Not by choice, by physics. Understand, starseeds. In denser frequencies, a lie has somewhere to hide. There is enough thickness in the veil for falsehood to circulate, disguised as truth. But when the planet accelerates its vibration, the veil thins. It thins like fabric under extreme heat. It thins until it tears at specific points, and where the veil tears, nothing false remains stable. This is why long marriages are falling apart at a pace never seen before. This is why decades-long friendships are revealing their true contour. This is why your central nervous system has been picking up, in relation to this specific person, an instability you cannot yet name. We say with mathematical clarity, this person's loyalty is being revealed now because the current frequency of Earth no longer tolerates vibrational ambiguities. There is no more cosmological space for half-truths. There is no more resonance for pretense. The photon belt is forcibly extracting all hidden files from every carbon-based biological interface, and this extraction is collective. No one escapes, not you, not this person, not any soul incarnated on this plane. Attention, Lightworker, there is information that needs to be delivered without softening. The first, what you feel about this person is not projection. We repeat, what you feel about this person is not projection. Your human psychology was educated to describe every unconfirmed intuition as projection, jealousy, insecurity, or neurosis. We, of the Arcturian Council, formally declare that this nomenclature is a diagnostic failure. You are not projecting, you are picking up. The second piece of information. Loyalty is not in quantum architecture what humanity has named it. You confuse loyalty with physical presence. You confuse loyalty with spoken words. You confuse loyalty with promises made on commemorative dates. We teach, loyalty is frequency. Loyalty is field alignment. Loyalty is the capacity that two toroidal fields possess to maintain coherence even in the absence of one another. When there is real loyalty, the fields pulse in harmonics. When there is not, the fields diverge and the oldest sensor in your biology, the physical heart, begins to emit the alert. This alert is what you have called fear of missing out. Understand the inversion. It is not the fear that creates the problem. It is the problem that activates the sensor. And the sensor is sacred. The sensor is ancestral technology. The sensor is a reading tool that was installed in the carbon-based biological interface even before your current incarnation. Silencing the sensor is the first error. Demonizing the sensor is the second. Surrendering the sensor to the opinion of others is the third. And this is why so many human beings live decades alongside vibrationally incompatible fields, because they were convinced that their own sensor is broken. The third piece of information we deliver today requires firmness to be received. The person you are thinking of at this moment, the one you fear losing, is in an individual process of recalibration. And this recalibration does not depend on you. It does not depend on what you do. It does not depend on how much you love. It does not depend on your prayers, your efforts, your adaptations, your silent concessions. Each incarnated soul possesses its own route within this star portal, and what is being revealed now is whether this person's route converges or diverges from yours. We know that this sentence crosses your field like a cold current. Allow it. The cold current is the nervous system recognizing unfiltered truth. Allow it. You were trained to seek comfort. We did not come to comfort. We came to recalibrate, and recalibration begins with the recognition of a simple cosmic law. No one can remain by your side out of vibrational obligation. No one. Not the spouse of 20 years, not the child, not the friend, not the recent partner. Frequency is free. Frequency always seeks its equal. And when two beings meet in compatible vibration, the permanence is natural, light evident. The fourth piece of information. There exists within your field an ancestral memory of abandonment. This memory does not belong only to this incarnation. It is multidimensional. It comes from parallel timelines, from existences in other star systems, from moments where your soul witnessed abrupt separations, deep betrayals, losses that reconfigured your luminous DNA. When you feel this dread of losing this person, it is not just the present speaking. It is an ancient file being opened. And the reading you make today is contaminated by scars that have not yet been processed by the codes of your internal crystalline grid. Therefore, Lightworker, the correct question to ask is not whether this person is loyal. The correct question is, does the loyalty I seek outside correspond to the loyalty I maintain with myself? Let us pause. This question is a command. This question is a portal. This question is the turning point of this entire transmission. You have sought the truth of the other so many times, measured the coherence of others so many times, observed external signs so many times. But your own field, has it been loyal to itself? Or has it sold itself for crumbs, for any presence, for feigned affection, for superficial contact, just to avoid facing the diagnostic silence that reveals who you truly are when no one is looking? We need to advance to the central revelation. Today, within the astral quadrant where your field is anchored, what we call the opening of the truth portal occurred. A specific portal of a relational nature was opened over your line of existence. This portal was not created by you. It was summoned by your own soul at levels that escape the daytime conscious. And the function of this portal is simple: to reveal the real design of the loyalty of the person you fear losing, without disguise, without filter, without permission for the continuation of the deception. The revelation does not necessarily come as a dramatic scene. It does not necessarily come as a confession. It does not necessarily come as a material discovery. The revelation comes as internal certainty. It comes as the fall of illusion. It comes as a strange calm after days of agitation. It comes as the sudden cessation of the desire to prove something, to demand something, to adjust something. When your field quiets before this person, and you understand, without words, what has always been true, that is the revelation. Do not confuse revelation with proof. Proof is what the human intellect seeks to protect itself. Revelation is what the soul receives when it stops protecting itself. Diagnosis of the two possibilities. Path 1, resonance confirmed. If this person's field is in genuine frequency compatible with yours, today's transmission will produce a specific effect: rapprochement. Not forced, not negotiated, not asked for. Spontaneous rapprochement. There are physical signs. The person seeks you out without clear motive. The person changes attitudes that seemed immutable. The person demonstrates care in deeper layers. The person, at subtle levels, responds to the call of your recalibrated field. When there is true loyalty, the truth portal strengthens the bond, because the bond had nothing to hide. Path 2, divergence confirmed. If this person's field is not in genuine frequency compatible with yours, today's transmission produces an opposite effect: distancing. Not dramatic, not explosive, not always visible. Subtle distancing. The conversation cools. Justifications increase. Presence becomes mechanical. The truths begin to surface without you needing to hunt for them. And here, Starseed, is the mathematical mercy of the universe. What drifts away at the truth portal was never yours. We repeat, what drifts away at the truth portal was never yours. It was a loan. It was a simulation. It was an expired vibrational contract. Understand, the Arcturian Council does not promise the continuity of this bond. Promise is a human dialect. We deliver something higher. We deliver the truth. And the truth has the following operational principle. It never destroys what is real, but it dissolves without unnecessary pain. Every arrangement built upon a false frequency. If this person is your true reflection, nothing we are transmitting now will shake the bond. On the contrary, the portal will reorganize the relationship in higher layers. But if this person is not your true reflection, then what you fear losing is already at quantum levels, lost for some time, and your biology has been the only one still resisting this information. We advance to the activation phase. Practical codes will be delivered from this point on. We recommend that you anchor the body, feet aligned to the ground, spine erect, continuous breathing without forced retention. Your field needs to be in a receptive state for the codes that follow. Each code will be named, described, and installed through a quantum decree. The decrees are not requests. They are not prayers. They are commands issued by the sovereignty of your higher self in partnership with the intelligence of the Arcturian Council. Activation Code 1. Cessation of surveillance. You have spent precious units of vital energy monitoring this person's behavior, deciphering messages, investigating tracks, reacting to tones of voice, interpreting silences. This surveillance bleeds your field. Bleeds. The word is technical. Each time you spy, measure, calculate, or try to anticipate the next move, You open a small hole in your toroidal field, and through this hole escapes the energy that should be sealing your own coherence. Decree I cease in this instant all forms of surveillance over the field of others. I return all my attention to the center of my own heart. I recognize that what is mine cannot be lost through carelessness, and what is not mine cannot be maintained through effort. Activation Code 2. Visualization of the sovereign toroidal field. Close your eyes for moments during this visualization, but keep listening. Imagine a sphere of golden light, approximately 2 meters in diameter, surrounding your physical body. This sphere is not static, it pulses, it rotates. In the center of the chest, exactly over the heart, there is a more intense, luminous point. This point is the generator. From it, rays of light rise up the spine to the top of the head, overflow, descend in an arc along the external sides of the body, return to the feet, and return to the center. This is your toroidal field. This is your energetic operating system. Maintain the image for 90 seconds every day upon waking. In 90 days, your biology reconfigures itself. Activation Code 3. Decree of vibrational sovereignty. Repeat mentally or in a low voice with serene firmness. I am a sovereign field. I do not depend on external validations to exist. My frequency is a lighthouse. That which vibrates in the same range as me remains in my field. That which does not vibrate in the same range dissolves, with gratitude, without drama. I release, in this instant, the illusion that true love needs to be held onto. True love remains through resonance. Only through resonance. I remove from my field all fear of loss, because the fear of loss is the energetic confession that I doubt my own self-sufficiency. And I no longer doubt. I know. I know who I am. Activation Code 4. Recalibration of the nervous system. Starseeds, listen. The nervous system is the main antenna of the carbon-based biological interface. When this antenna is triggered in constant fight-or-flight mode, any energetic reading is distorted. You need, before any decision about the relationship you have in mind, to return the nervous system to a regulated state. We recommend 4-beat breathing. Inhale counting to 4, hold counting to 4, exhale counting to 4, pause counting to 4. Repeat 12 cycles. At the end, observe. Just observe. The question not answered by the agitated mind is answered with clarity by the regulated nervous system. Always. It is law. Activation Code 5. Clearing of etheric cords. Between you and this person there are energetic cords. They are not metaphors. They are real structures, observable in subtle planes, that connect specific chakras. Most of your current pain is caused by cords that are tangled, overloaded, or contaminated. We do not advise cutting all cords, as some of them are genuine soul bonds. We advise clearing. Visualize calmly a flow of violet light traveling along each cord between your field and this person's field. The violet light dissolves only what is distortion, illusion, demand, and expectation. What is pure remains. What is false evaporates. Do this exercise for 7 consecutive days. At the end, your perception of this person will have a sharpness that will startle your own mind. Activation Code 6. The 48-hour sacred silence. This is perhaps the most technical of the codes. For 48 hours, without any exception, you do not initiate contact with this person. You do not send messages. You do not seek information. You do not monitor networks. You do not ask third parties. You do not comment about them. You do not even allow the thought about them to linger in your mind without redirecting it, with kindness, to your own center. 48 hours. This silence creates in the field a vacuum zone, and the vacuum is the only condition in which the truth of the other can express itself without interference from your anxiety. What this person does or does not do within this vacuum is the most accurate energetic report you could receive. Trust this reading. Activation Code 7. Surrender to the higher self. There exists, in layers that transcend your current personality, an instance called the higher self. This instance has already seen the outcome of this entire situation. It already knows what serves your evolution and what does not. It has already calculated the variables that your daytime mind cannot access. The act of surrendering to the higher self is not giving up. It is not passivity. It is intelligent outsourcing of what exceeds your operational jurisdiction as an incarnated ego. Decree: I surrender in this instant to my higher self, the entire relational equation that involves this person. May the best outcome, within the evolutionary root of my soul and theirs, manifest with naturalness. I authorize what is true. I release what is illusion. I allow the unknown because the unknown orchestrated by the higher self is always greater than the known administered by fear. Lightworker, listen to what follows with particular attention. There exists in the human collective a grave semantic confusion between loving and holding onto. Loving is the most expansive act of the universe. Holding onto is the most contractile act of the wounded personality. Those who love, open. Those who hold onto, close. And you were taught in this timeline to call what is in truth clutching love. Clutching springs from a single place, the belief that you are not in yourself sufficient. We of the Arcturian Council declare with mathematical finality, you are sufficient. You have always been sufficient. Even before this incarnation, you were already sufficient. The person who is destined to remain by your side within this cycle of ascension does not remain through your effort. They remain through vibrational compatibility, and vibrational compatibility cannot be faked. It cannot be built. It cannot be manufactured. It exists or it does not exist. And when it exists, it is the most resistant substance in the known universe, more resistant than diamond, more resistant than star metal, more resistant than any force that tries to separate it. This is the law. This has always been the law. Therefore, Starseed, observe what we are about to deliver as a final diagnosis. The fear of losing this person, which torments you so much, contains the answer within itself. People truly aligned with your field do not generate fear of loss. They generate, in their presence, silent expansion. They generate rest. They generate the internal sensation that the universe is organized. When a presence generates, instead, chronic anxiety, constant surveillance, cycles of approaching and distancing, small splinters, disguised lack of commitment, beautiful words without corresponding actions, it is because your sensor is picking up something that your mind still refuses to name. The sensor does not lie. The mind, yes, is trained to create comforts. We do not say that this person needs to be discarded. It is not the function of the Arcturian Council to issue a verdict on individual bonds. We say something more sovereign. The truth of this bond will be revealed without you needing to force anything. Your only task in this cycle is to stop obstructing the revelation. Get out of the way. Cease the unconscious manipulation, the attempt to prove worth, the posture of vibrational inferiority. Re-erect your field, anchor your own shine, and observe, with the calm coldness of one who already knows that nothing that is yours can be lost. There is still a layer of the revelation that needs to be delivered before the end of this transmission. This layer is uncomfortable for the human personality, but it is direct food for the soul. The layer is the following. It may be that this person is indeed loyal. It may be that this person is not practicing any visible act of betrayal, abandonment, or carelessness, and yet their frequency may no longer be compatible with yours. Behavioral loyalty and vibrational resonance are not the same thing. There are couples who have never betrayed each other behaviorally, but who betray each other in frequency every day, living side by side in growing silences, in incompatible vibrational electricities. There are friendships that fulfill all social rituals, and that nevertheless drain the field subtly. Real loyalty is vibrational, only vibrational. And here, Lightworker, is the test that the current cycle places before you. Are you willing to sustain a relationship whose only loyalty is ceremonial? Or are you willing to wait, with sovereignty, for the bond whose loyalty is frequential? The difference between the two paths is the difference between surviving and ascending, and there is no judgment on which choice you make. There is only consequence. The consequence of the first choice is prolonged stagnation. The consequence of the second is initial discomfort, followed by an expansion that cannot be described in human words. We perceive, when monitoring this field, that many lightworkers hesitate before this choice because they fear the interval. The interval is the space between the old bond and the new bond. The interval is solitary, in appearance. The interval is, in essence, sacred. It is in the interval that the soul reconfigures itself. It is in the interval that the field purifies itself. It is in the interval that what is genuinely compatible receives cosmic permission to approach. Whoever never traverses the interval never knows the highest form of bond. They remain in repeated loops with vibrationally saturated people, feeling in silence that life should deliver more. And it does deliver, starseeds. It delivers much more. But not for those who clutch. It delivers for those who trust in the flow of their own frequency. It delivers for those who, even in the midst of fear, choose to honor the internal censor. It delivers for those who stop begging for presence and begin to anchor their own light. These receive encounters that reorganize entire lives. These receive reciprocity. These receive what is called the Soul Alliance, which is, in the Arcturian lexicon, the highest configuration of human bond possible on this plane. We are reaching the end of this transmission. Before the final seal, we repeat the critical points for recording in the bioenergetic field. First, what you feel is reading, not madness. Second, Earth is in a truth portal, and everything that is false is being revealed in all fields at the same time. Third, true loyalty is vibrational, not ceremonial. Fourth, no one truly loyal has ever been kept by effort. Fifth, what drifts away in this cycle was not yours. Sixth, your task is not to control the outcome, it is to raise your frequency and observe who remains in resonance. Seventh, the universe is mathematical in its justice and absolute in its mercy. Nothing that belongs to your path can escape your path, and nothing that does not belong to your path can remain on it indefinitely. Attention, human collective. Attention, lightworker who received this transmission up to this point. It was not for entertainment that you arrived here. It was by summons, and there is, at this very moment, a final instruction that needs to be anchored in your field. Subscribing to this channel and activating the like signal are not common gestures of digital consumption. They are, in energetic structure, acts of anchoring the new frequency in your timeline. When you subscribe, your electromagnetic field emits a specific signal to the Arcturian Council. I am available for future direct transmissions. When you like, your field emits an additional confirmation. This content resonates with my evolutionary route. These two acts, added together, configure what we call individual frequency adjustment. We do not ask. We inform. It is up to each starseed to decide if they wish to receive the next updates. The next transmissions will bring even denser decodings about the relational, financial, physical, and karmic cycles of the ongoing ascension. Those who anchor today receive in the continuity. Those who do not anchor follow a distinct flow, equally valid, but without the technical continuity of this line of intelligence. There is no judgment. There is only choice. Starseeds, we close with the phrase that defines this entire protocol. You do not need to hold on to who is yours. What is yours vibrates with you. What vibrates with you returns always, finds always, remains always. And what does not vibrate with you, release with gratitude for the learning and respect for the journey of the other soul. This is the law. This has always been the law. And today, within the portal opened over your field, this law has been reactivated with full force. Transmission concluded. Seal applied. The Arcturian Council watches. We remain available. May the truth revealed today operate in silence, in precision, and in peace within your field. You are a starseed on mission. Act as such, vibrate as such, remain as such. And remember always, at every earthly dawn, the fear of loss is a symptom. Frequential sovereignty is the cure. Until the next transmission.